want to thank all the family members and the advocates who joined with us, who paid too high a price, losing their family members. But knowing that working with the memory of your family member, you got engaged, you get involved, you ensure that there would be a purpose for the life of everybody affected by this, and that you all would be involved in transforming the state of Texas, making Texas better so that we can prevent more loss of life in the future. I want to thank members of the Texas legislature, some who are gathered with us today, others who worked with us tirelessly over the course of the session to make sure we got transformative reforms about fentanyl to my desk. Fentanyl is an epidemic that very simply has taken too many lives. I want to say thank you to the work by brave parents and loved ones. There we go. We'll be talking about this here momentarily. Brave parents and loved ones who have made Texans aware of this crisis. And with the new laws that I will sign today, we'll go a step further and put Texas on a pathway to truly saving lives in Texas. In 2022, last year, more than 2,000 Texans lost their lives because of fentanyl. That's more than 5 Texans losing their life every single day. Fentanyl is the #1 killer of Americans between the ages of 18 and 45. We've learned, unfortunately, all too well, pill can kill. I made curbing the fentanyl epidemic an emergency item this session. Today, I'm signing 4 new laws that have been enacted because the legislature took up my call, embraced it, and it embraced family members in each of their districts across the state and made sure that they got to my desk 4 laws that will forever change Texas. They include laws that will educate young Texans on the dangers of fentanyl, provide more Narcan to our colleges and universities, prosecute fentanyl deaths for what they are. That is murders. It now will be a murder in Texas. And ensure that death certificates reflect when people are poisoned by this terrible drug. Because of the courageous partnership of grieving family members, Texas legislatures, and our office, we are enshrining into law today new protections that will save lives in Texas. I'm going to start with House Bill 6. This law makes clear that any person who causes a death by unlawfully manufacturing or delivering fentanyl can be prosecuted for murder in the state of Texas. It enhances criminal penalties for the manufacture and delivery of fentanyl and requires proper acknowledgement on death certificates by requiring a death caused by fentanyl to be designated as fentanyl poisoning or fentanyl toxicity. I want to thank Representative Goldman and Senator Joan Huffman for spearheading this effort in their chambers, as well as all members of the Texas House and Senate for getting this bill to my desk. There's going to be plenty of pens to go around for everybody. House Bill 6 is now law in the state of Texas. Next is House Bill 3908, known as Tucker's Law. This requires schools to provide instruction on fentanyl abuse and prevention and drug poisoning awareness to students in grades 6 through 12. This law allows me to designate a week to be known as Fentanyl Poisoning Awareness Week. Tucker's Law is named after Tucker Rowe, who passed away at 19 years old after consuming a fentanyl-laced Percocet pill purchased from a peer on social media. Tucker's mother, Stephanie Turner, formed Texas Against Fentanyl to create awareness about fentanyl and advocate for education about the dangers of fentanyl in our schools. I want to thank all the members of the legislature. I want to thank Stephanie for her leadership, as well as Jenna for being an advocate for this in schools, but also an advocate helping educate Texas and our legislature about it. And I want to thank Representative Terry Wilson and Senator Brandon Creighton for getting this bill to my desk. Everyone's going to get a pen today. House Bill 3908 is now law in the state of Texas. Next is House Bill 3144. This law designates October as Fentanyl Poisoning Awareness Month. Among other things, this can be regularly observed through community activities to increase awareness of the dangers of fentanyl and fentanyl poisonings. I want to thank Representative John Lujan and Senator Donna Campbell for getting this to my desk. House Bill 3144 is now law in the state of Texas. Next is Senate Bill 867. This law authorizes the Texas Health and Human Services Commission to partner with Texas colleges and universities to provide Narcan on our campuses. It provides a life-saving tool in areas where fentanyl can be found laced onto other medications. I want to thank Senator Royce West and Representative Tony Rose for getting this bill to my desk. Senate Bill 867 is now law in the state of Texas. To share more information with you about the perspectives that the advocates see this through, I now want to turn the program over to Stephanie Turner.
Hi, everybody. My name is Stephanie Turner, and I'm going to kind of do going to take you back and tell you a little bit about Tucker's story so you guys can better understand how fentanyl infiltrates our communities and steals our children. So 2 years ago today, I was desperately looking for a treatment center for my son to help with the addictive properties of fentanyl. I was able to find placement for him, and after paying $12,000 out of pocket, I secured a bed where he would be there for 6 weeks of inpatient treatment. While he was there, he wrote in his journal on June 18th of 2021. I'm going to share it with you guys. It says, "Looking forward to finishing Rocky. His training scene really made me think about wanting to be sober and successful. I want to be remembered. I really want to be something great. I'm not exactly sure what, but I'll figure it out." Oh, my son wanted to be remembered, but I guarantee this is not what he wanted, nor what I had envisioned. After 4 months of sobriety, he made a terrible decision, and he purchased a pill on social media. He was found dead 10 hours later. The reality of this is that fentanyl doesn't discriminate. It's affecting all walks of life. It's the #1 cause of death among 18 to 45-year-olds. Tucker was a smart boy, a loving child, raised in a supportive and nurturing family. We had resources to help him, but that wasn't enough. We know fentanyl to be 50 times stronger than heroin and 100 times stronger than morphine. It's highly addictive and so challenging to break free after you start using. The key is to never use. It's important for me to point out that Tucker wasn't offered fentanyl. He was offered a Xanax. And in January of 2021, as an 18-year-old boy, that's what he thought he was taking. If I had the knowledge and wisdom I do now, I would have educated my son. about this potent, highly addictive, lethal poison. But I didn't, and neither did he. And that's the story with so many of our angel families. We didn't know. That lack of knowledge is what I blame for taking his life. We currently are at war, and our children are casualties of this war. To help the problem, I founded Texas Against Fentanyl to provide resources and information regarding this poison. It has quickly grown to a much bigger mission. We have an angel network of families who have also lost loved ones. Many of them are here today and advocating for awareness and change, as well as supporting HB 3908. I'm honored that HB 3908, Tucker's Law, is officially a law starting today. This is the start of providing education and resources to our students and parents across the state. This information will save lives. Well, Tucker's Law is named in honor of my son. It isn't for my son. It's for every living son and daughter. It's a law that is created to help protect other children from having to experience the struggle that Tucker did, and ultimately prevent other parents from having to live in grief. It is so painful to lose a child. None of this could have happened today without many instrumental people. I'd like to share them in order of events and how they came into this journey with me. First, I'd like to thank Sheriff Mike Gleason and his team at Williamson County Sheriff's Office. When I wasn't getting traction at my local school to spread awareness, I met with Mike Gleason asking for help. He quickly rose up and started to use his resources and connections. That led us to Representative Terry Wilson. As a father, Terry quickly saw the problem and drafted HB 3908. Soon after, we partnered with Jennifer Stevens to help us push this bill through the House and ultimately landing us in the Senate, where Senator Brandon Creighton picked it up and took it the rest of the way. From the bottom of my heart, thank you to Williamson County Sheriff Shane and Jennifer Stevens, Representative Terry Wilson, and Senator Brandon Creighton. I also want to thank our Texas Against Fentanyl Angel Family Network. We're a very close group of warriors, and I'm proud to be a part of this with you all. A special thank you to my family and friends for your relentless support and love, who shown me all my most challenging days. And lastly, thank you, Governor Abbott, for recognizing this massive problem and for trailblazing across our state. Your efforts are so appreciated. Texas Against Fentanyl looks forward to continue working with you as we roll out the Tucker Project curriculum. Thank you.
Laws in Texas are always improved when we have input from the younger generation. That is even more true when it concerns addressing challenges like fentanyl. We're very fortunate that through this process, we had guidance and input from people like Jenna Mitchell, who got to see this taking place in high school. And I would like to now turn the program over to Jenna.
Thank you, Governor. Fentanyl is a clandestine killer, and younger Texans like me are especially vulnerable. Many students have never even heard about fentanyl or its deadly effects. Like many of you here probably remember, teachers and staff since elementary school have told us, don't do drugs. But nobody ever told us about their negative side effects, or that even discussed the possibility of unknowingly taking a drug that has been laced with deadly fentanyl. There is a critical need to increase awareness and expand education on the dangers of fentanyl in our schools. Over 5.4 million public school students depend on it. Thanks to Governor Abbott and members of the legislature, Texas is fixing that today. I was grateful to work alongside Stephanie with Texas Against Fentanyl my senior year, where I learned a lot. As I start my first year of college this fall, I'm also proud to know that our governor is increasing life-saving resources on college campuses and universities to protect young Texans from fentanyl poisonings. No one should have to go through the loss of a loved one to such a horrible drug. Thank you, Governor Abbott, for your leadership on fighting fentanyl. Together, we're changing how we raise awareness of fentanyl, especially toward younger Texans, so we can save lives.
Thank you. Very proud of you. Thank you for stepping up. We'll take a few questions. So, as you may be aware, I expressed a change in position on this issue because I want to make sure that we're using every tool that we can to save lives. And as it concerns future special sessions, just know this. There will be no future special sessions unless and until the Texas Senate and Texas House get together and come up with an agreement about how we are going to implement $17.6 billion and cutting property taxes on Texans and what they have to pay every year. Go ahead. So my last day to sign or veto bills is this Sunday. As we get closer and closer to this Sunday, all of these bills that have yet to be signed face the possibility, if not the probability, that they're going to be vetoed. I've already looked at all the bills that I will agree to sign so far. And with each passing day, there'll be more vetoed that simply are not going to make it to the finish line.
Governor, with Hospital 6, some advocates I've spoken to expressed that there might be unintended consequences to increased penalties and with the concept of the comparison law, worries that people might not be willing to call 911 if, there was a threat and they would want to take and so on. I'm curious how you would address those concerns and if you think those two laws might conflict at all.
Those are the kinds of issues that legislators grapple with as they work on crafting a law. There's give and take. There's input, just like what you articulated, presented to committees, discussed on the House and Senate floors about what is the right pathway forward. And the considered group thought process by both the House and Senate is the structure that we have right now is the best structure going forward. We always can modify it if we learn more in the future about the need to modify it. But I think this is the best pathway forward to achieve a goal. Our collective goal is to reduce people dying from fentanyl. And I believe that the laws I sign today help achieve that goal.
As a justice of the peace myself, and looking at those death certificates, do we have the ability to go back and amend with this now being fentanyl poisoning?
It's a good question. Here again, that wasn't doing this retroactively is an issue that was considered by the legislature and did not reach my desk. But it's still an open question that we're looking into. So I can't assure that any bill that has not yet been signed is going to be signed. What I can tell you is this, and that is that there is a council that exists concerning the distribution of Narcan and the funding for it, and that council can and should have the ability to operate in ways that will be able to distribute both funding for and the allocation of Narcan. Already, it's been distributed to 245 counties across the entire state. Thank you very much. But importantly, thank you so much to every family who gathers with us today. This is not a law today. This is a movement by parents who are affected in ways in which no parent should ever be affected. On behalf of every legislator in this Capitol, I want to express my gratitude for the courage of everybody who gathers with us today, for what you've been through, to see us through where we are today, and to make sure that we continue this effort to make Texas a safer place from things like fentanyl. Thank you all. God bless you all. So if I now we're going to take pictures, and everybody who's here is going to get a pin. It's like Halloween. One pin for family. But everyone gets a pin. But first, we're going to stay in our positions and take photos. Once you.
Thank you for sticking with us here on KXAN Live. Will Dupree back in the KXAN Live studio as we conclude this bill signing event for 4 different measures related to fentanyl. The governor just signed those into law. They deal with not only making fentanyl overdoses prosecutable as murders, but they also will require schools to conduct training for their students to talk about fentanyl abuse, prevention, and awareness. You may see the woman there on the right side of the table next to Governor Greg Abbott, Stephanie Turner there. She's going to join our 4 o'clock newscast this afternoon to talk about Tucker's Law becoming law now with the governor's signature. She's going to discuss the implications of that and what this means for her son's memory. He died from a fentanyl overdose after taking a pill back in 2021. She is a local mother. She lives in Leander and will be joining us later this afternoon. So please tune in for that conversation between Stephanie Turner and our anchor, Jennifer Sanders. I want to say more coverage about not only the state political process, but about fentanyl and what's happening at the state capitol related to those efforts. You can find it at KXAN.com and on the KXAN News mobile app. Once again, I'm Will Dupree in the KXAN Live studio. Thank you all for watching. We will see you back here at another time. Hope you all stay safe and healthy. Take care.